Good morning, everyone, and especially to Dianne. I'm going to start off by just saying congratulations because as the chair of the nominating committee on the alumni board, we review tons of wonderful Drew graduates information. And when we all read yours, you just stood out. And that's why you're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. You really just stood out. And I'm going to share a lot of that information with everyone here as I do the presentation. It's a big honor to be able to give awards to our alums. And this award is extra special because this award has only been given twice before in Drew's history. So the Lifetime Achievement Award is something that we save for those very, very special people who have just these impressive stories about their life and their career and their commitment to Drew and what Drew has done for them. And we're lucky to have you. I see we have your daughter Jenny here, who's also a Drew graduate, which is kind of like my family. I'm one of three. I'm the oldest of three girls, and we all ended up going to Drew and all have the same love for the school that clearly your family does. And so I want to talk about when the Alumni Achievement Awards first started. They first started in 1956, and we only gave 2 awards at that time. And we now give 9 awards in different categories to various alums who are all very impressive. And you are now one of over 200 alums who have received some type of alumni award from the Alumni Association and the university. And that's out of around 19,000 graduates from the college. So you're very lucky and very impressive, and that's why you're so deserving to be getting this award. The award actually honors the alums who have demonstrated outstanding success in their work throughout their career. They are recognized leaders and have made a significant impact in their field. And we have many alumni who meet these criteria, but your background, when we read it, we all jumped out on the committee and said, Dianne should get the Lifetime Achievement Award. We know we haven't given it very often. We want Dianne to get that award. So many of you may already know this about her, but I have to say it again. She was a chemistry major at Drew. And although you were a chemistry major, you seem to be able to find time to still take French and German and literature and art. What was even more impressive to me was your list of extracurricular activities. You may have topped anyone else I've ever read. And I've been doing things on the alumni board since I graduated in 1984. And you probably have the most impressive list of extracurricular activities. So they included water ballet, Druids, Green Key, Oakleaf art editor, Acorn staff, dormitory council, freshman orientation committee, Sigma Tau Sigma Kappa Psi, Sigma Phi, and social chair of your junior and senior class. You held a part-time job as a lifeguard, library staffer, chemistry department student assistant, and you gave 50 cents haircuts to dorm mates, which I am sure everybody is dying to have right now. I don't know how you did all that and were a chemistry major because chemistry is not easy. And as you approach graduation, you had to decide whether or not you were going to go to medical school or graduate school. And you chose to major in biochemistry at Duke University Medical School. You earned your PhD with a National Institute of Health Fellowship, and during your final semester, you took a course taught by a team of biochemists and physicians that examined the biochemical basis of inborn errors of metabolism. And this sparked an interest that formed the rest of your professional career. You then accepted a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship at the University of North Carolina in pediatric biochemistry, and your lab work involved developing methodology and procedures for newborn screening for rare IEM. You were also assigned to redesign the biochemistry course taught to first-year medical students. Then you began using the pathology of rare IEM to illustrate biochemical pathways. Student evaluations of this revised course led to your first teaching award, and I can see why. And as an interest and experience in your IEM grew, you received your first large research grant, which is not an easy feat. You then began recruiting graduate students and continued to develop newborn screening methodology, and you were teaching. You soon realized the most rewarding aspect of studying IEM was direct patient contact, and you enrolled in the MPH program at the University of North Carolina School of Public Health. You were then promoted to full professor of pediatrics at the UNC Medical School, and you had a patient load of about 300 children and adults with rare IEM, and they were treated via dietary nutritional intervention. You then continued to develop protocols for newborn screening for these IEM and helped North Carolina become the first state to implement a program for screening for more than 20 IEMs. And that is really impressive and wonderful. And during your academic career, you authored more than 60 peer-reviewed journal articles, book chapters, presented over 100 invited lectures, nationally and internationally, and you were tapped for membership to the Drew University Silver Tower Society, honored by the Southeastern Genetics Group for your service, received a Lifetime Contribution Award by the Genetic Metabolic Dietitians International, and you were granted the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest civilian recognition for service to the people of North Carolina. And that was given to you by the North Carolina governor. And in your spare time, and I don't understand how you have any after all of this, you taught Sunday school, you were a Girl Scout leader, a volunteer, and a church volunteer. You're trying to reach your goal of reading 100 books per year, and you're finishing coursework for a certificate and a master's degree in botanical illustration. I don't know how you do all of that. It is so impressive. And what I like is that you credit your wonderful training and experiences at Drew for your enthusiasm for seeking answers to life's mysteries. I am honored to present you with the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's the first time I've ever been able to give a Lifetime Achievement Award, and you are a truly deserving recipient. You are just an example of what a Drew education can do, and I just am very honored to give it to you. I want to congratulate you. We have Jenny, her daughter here, who's going to speak on her behalf, I believe, because I know, Dianne, you're having a little trouble with your vocal cords, and we do not want to strain them because we want you to keep going, doing all the things that you're doing, and continue to impress us. So I will turn it over to Jenny.
Thank you so much, Laura, and congratulations, Mom. It is my honor and privilege to read your prepared remarks. So these are remarks that Dianne have put together that she would like me to read on her behalf. I am so humbled to have been selected by the College Alumni Association for this year's Drew University Lifetime Achievement Award. I want to express my gratitude to the university, faculty, staff, and fellow 1964 classmates who influenced and molded my 4 years at Drew. I also want to congratulate this year's other honorees receiving recognition for their achievements and contributions to Drew. Like many 17-year-olds, I made my tour of prospective colleges. I had hoped to attend one of the New England sister schools. Later, only at the urging of our hometown minister, I traveled to Drew, and something magical happened on that visit. Drew offered a small but beautiful campus, friendly students, and a well-rounded curriculum, and approachable faculty and administration. There was no hesitation making my choice. My advisor for the first 2 years was Dean Weatherby. He met with me after midterm grades for the first semester, and he expressed his disappointment that as a Rose Memorial Scholarship recipient that I hadn't done better. In those days, the final exams for the fall term were held in January after the long holiday break. My parents saw very little of me during that holiday because I was determined to make him proud of me. I was able to return to Dean Weatherby with a 3.8 GPA for the semester. And more importantly, I discovered a love of chemistry and decided to make that my college major. I will always be grateful to him for embarrassing me into working harder. It wasn't all work and no play. Extracurricular activities were an important part of my Drew experience. Highlights were water ballet, green key, art editor of the Oak Leaf yearbook, orientation committee, and social chair of the junior and senior class. I'll never forget the early morning meeting with President Hardin, right after President Kennedy's assassination. to devise a plan to shut down Drew's fall weekend festivities. I had several part-time jobs as well: lifeguard, library staffer, student assistant, and dorm barber, which provided me with a little extra spending money. But I almost didn't graduate. I had waited until my last semester to take the required religion course. 3 papers were necessary to pass. The title of my final one was The Biological Implications of the Virgin Birth. I had taken this very seriously, and I had done quite a bit of biblical and scientific research. Unfortunately, Dr. Miller thought I was being cheeky and was planning on giving me an F. Luckily, Dr. Phillips in the zoology department persuaded him that this was scientifically sound work, and I was allowed to walk with the rest of the class of '64. After graduation, I headed south to earn my PhD in biochemistry at the Duke University Medical School. While writing my dissertation, I attended an elective course taught by a team of biochemists and physicians who examined the biochemical basis of inborn errors of metabolism. These are rare inherited disorders that become apparent only after birth, but can have devastating outcomes if they're not diagnosed and treated. This class sparked an interest that informed the rest of my professional career. I was granted a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship at the University of North Carolina, UNC, in pediatric biochemistry. Laboratory work focused on developing methodology and procedures for newborn screening for these rare disorders. Also, as the newest faculty member, I was assigned to redesign a much maligned biochemistry class that was taught to first-year medical students. I began using the pathology of rare inborn errors to illustrate biochemical pathways. Student evaluations of the revised course led to a teaching award. As interest and experience in these rare disorders grew, I received my first large research grant and began recruiting graduate students and continued to develop newborn screening methodologies. Realizing that the most rewarding aspect of studying these disorders was direct patient contact, I enrolled in the Masters of Public Health program at the UNC School of Public Health. Eventually, I was promoted to professor of pediatrics, where my active patient load was hundreds of wonderful children and adults managed through dietary and nutritional intervention. These patients became my extended family, providing me with so many invitations to weddings, graduations, and other highlights of their lives. I continued to develop protocols for newborn screening for these rare disorders and helped North Carolina become the first state to implement a program of tandem mass spectroscopy newborn screening for more than 20 disorders. I also began a project to prepare evidence-based guidelines for the management of these rare disorders. These projects led to many publications and invitations to give national and international lectures. Wonderful opportunities to travel broadened my horizons, and I was honored at a retirement reception by receiving the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest civilian honor for people of North Carolina given by the governor. During these years, my husband Jim and I raised 2 lovely daughters, Becky, now deceased, and Jenny, me, a graduate of Drew, class of '97. Jenny is now a senior vice president at Nielsen with 2 lovely daughters, Sadie and Betsy. I've been a church volunteer, active in Girl Scouts, and I enjoy family activities, cooking, and much reading. I'm also trying to finish the coursework for a certificate master's degree in botanical illustration. I credit the educational opportunities and wonderful experiences it drew for my enthusiasm to meet life's challenges. A personal note for me, it has been such a joy to find out that this opportunity was available for nomination, and it was so easy to nominate my mother, who I have always been so proud of for all the work that she's done for children and for the people of North Carolina. She's been such an incredible role model to me on how to be a strong, thoughtful, giving person, and to prove that you can dedicate your life to service and people while also being a wonderful mother who was always at home when we got home from school, desperately tried but failed to teach us to cook and sew, but still tries to this day. and giving me all the support and love, as our family has had many highs and lows throughout our life. It's incredible that a place like Drew was able to give both her and I such a wonderful start in our lives. And I'd like to thank Drew for all of its support and for recognizing my mom for the wonderful person she is. Thank you.